Hey there, Wargamers, and welcome back to another Wargames Delivered video. Be sure to visit us at wargamesdelivered.com to get the paints, miniatures, and supplies used in this video, and also to refer a friend. You guys will both get a $15 discount, and with that, let's get into the video. In this video, I'll show you how to paint a Death Guard Plague Marine using the new Speedpaint 2.0s from the Army Painter. Starting out here, we're going to be using Algae Green on all of the armor panels on the model, and this is going to be the primary color of our model, so it's a nice light green for Death Guard. And another thing that I noticed when using this color is if you use it really thin, on some of the more flat surfaces and raised details, it kind of dries with an almost orange tinge, which is really great for the Plague Marines because it kind of looks like a natural rust effect. And when you're working on flatter surfaces like this, just try to play around with the speed paint as best as you can. Try to make it look as even as possible before it dries, because that way it will dry evenly. If it looks a little bit uneven and blotchy, just go ahead and take your brush before it dries and just even that out. That way you get the best result before it dries. And if you'd like to go a little bit lighter with the color, you can also use a little bit of speed paint medium to really thin the paint down and get the lightest possible result out of the speed paint. And now if you're interested in trying out any of the other Army Painter paint lines, we have an exclusive deal over at wargamesdelivered.com, where if you buy 6 paints, you'll get 3 free paints with your order of your choosing. Of any of the other Army Painter paint lines. So anything but the new speed paints, you'll be able to take advantage of this deal with. And that's simply because the new speed paints are not available as singles quite yet. They are due to be released a little bit later on this year, but for now we have the metallic set, the mega set, and the complete set to choose from for the new speed paints, which are all available right now. And once you're done with this step, be sure to clean up a little bit with some matte white acrylic, just to get all of those areas ready for our next speed paint step here, which is going to be Tide and Dusk Red. Using Dusk Red first, this is going to be what we're going to use for the little bit of a cloth that he has underneath his armor down here. And if you look at the Death Guard box art, all of their cloth is kind of this deep red, almost a purplish color. So Dusk Red is really the perfect color for this out of the new speed paint line, and I wanted to use the newer speed paints and really just kind of continue to test them out on a wide variety of miniatures. This is really the only area that we'll be covering with this color, so just be sure to hit the entire front and also hit the back before we move on to Tide here, which we're going to use for all of our tentacles and fleshy bits on the model. And now, since Death Guards seem to have quite a bit of tentacles and just excess fleshy bits coming off of them, Tide is perfect for these types of areas. You could also go for a more red-leaning speed paint if you'd like to for these areas. And with those details dry, we only have a few more large details to fill in. Moving on to the next speed paint, we're going to use Bony Matter on all of the bone details. And this is going to work very well across the skulls here. Just lay it on pretty thick and you'll have the best result. And with the bone spikes that are coming out of his head and his armor here, the best way to work on those with speed paint that I've found is just work top down and let the majority of the paint sink into the bottom. This will really help kind of create natural recesses and shading on the bone spikes. And with that dry, I wanted to add a little bit more depth and detail to the armor, so we're going to move on to Ruddy Fur. And this is a nice orangish brown, and we're going to use this to kind of create a rust effect over all of the green armor. Just kind of use it to create stains, work in multiple layers. Usually I worked in about 2 coats on each of these areas to really get a pronounced rust effect. And while creating those stains, another good technique to use here is to sort of pin wash with this speed paint and also dot the rivets that are on the armor. This will create a sort of rust effect quickly and easily on the rivets as well. And now I did want to go into a little bit more depth in the Great Plague Cleaver that he has, so we'll do a separate video on that weapon and how to paint plague weapons. For our final steps here in this video, we're going to switch over to True Copper, and for this we're going to line all of the armor panels, all of the metallic panels that should be a nice bronze color. We're going to go ahead and pick out with this paint. And off screen, I also went in with matte black and just covered up some other smaller details, like the eyes of the fly face that's on his pauldron there, as well as some of the tubing and excess wires on his armor as well. Now you will probably want about 2 thin coats with this metallic, and after it's dry you can go over it with, I like to use a flesh wash with my sort of bronzer kind of colors, but you can use any kind of wash really, and really create a nice solid effect for your Plague Marines. And with that done, you can really see here how the new speed paints can really pull a lot of weight on a miniature on their own. And just adding some other details really brings the miniature to the next level. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more painting tutorials, and also be sure to check out the top link in the description for the giveaway attached to this video. Thanks again guys, and happy wargaming!